Well, hi everyone. It's nice to see y'all again. How you doing? Everybody good?
Good. Good.
So today we're going to have a discussion about the Five of Cups. We kind of like
Mhm.
having these discussions about individual cards, don't we?
Mhm.
Kind of fun. So, who wants to start? Anybody want to talk about well, let me just say this and then I'm going to turn it over. So Five of Cups, I'm using the Golden Art Nouveau because it's in front of me right now. But the Five of Cups says that if this is an emotional reaction to something, I would think that the next question would be to what caused it, and that might
Mhm.
really help draw out, where we're going or what the other cards mean. So, anybody
Mhm.
have any? What's your go-to for this card?
Well, I look at all fives as being conflict cards. And
Yes.
the Five of Cups is an emotional conflict, an internal conflict. So it can be about grief or sorrow or heartbreak or something along that line, but it is a situation that you have not yet had a chance to process and resolve. So you're kind of caught between two pillars and you don't know which way that you're going, and you're focused on that conflict.
Right.
Mhm.
Mhm.
See?
Yeah, I agree. It's that um to me I call it the test. All those fives are nothing but tests. The cups, emotional strength, the pentacles, the fear of not having enough, the wands, are we capable? But that cups, um depending upon what is around it, again, that emotional feeling that you get, um with it sitting there looking at you saying, but I still got two cups left. And when I look at that card, and you know as well as I do, that card comes up in different decks and they're all over the place. I have one, mine shows three flowers floating away and two still on the stick. But I love the cards that show the bridge in the back. To me,
Mhm.
that's hope. That gives you something to still go toward. And then whatever cards are laying around it, I grab those too.
Classic Tarot by Barbara Moore is a real standard Rider-Waite-Smith style deck. And that's the only one I have that I've seen. And maybe I need to just take a look now, that where I've seen the bridge way off in the distance. And what's interesting is it's got four on that card. It has four poles, two on one side and two on the other, and it looks just like the Four of Wands card. It's that stability from the Four of Wands, and I look at that as finding your way back. Here is the path back to where you were before you had this happen to you. So it's like getting back to where you were. So that's kind of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Devine, what about you?
Well, I agree with everything that has been said thus far. I look at the fives, but I also go back and I look at the fours because the cups, it's a journey, right?
Yes.
And so when you look at the Four of Cups, it's there's three cups in front of this person, and there's another cup coming out of the sky, Spirit is handing you this opportunity, right?
Mhm.
And the person on the card is, like defiant, like yeah, maybe not. And then you come to the five, and the Five of Cups, there's that person, that same person. And now, rather than looking at the opportunities that are available, they're focused on the spilled cups, like that old cliche, don't dwell over spilled milk or what. So when I see this, if it comes up in a reading, I would say, okay, so what are you still hanging on to? Maybe you should focus on what is available to you. Apparently whatever these spilled cups are is the past. Can't pick it up, you can't put it back in the cup, it's done. So you still have opportunity. There is space, there's hope there. And the bridge, the water that's depicted in the card, it's kind of like a raging river, right? And so maybe this person is just like allowing their emotions to just, keep going downstream. Stop. Look at what you have. Open your eyes to what's available to you. And there is a bridge over the troubled waters that will take you back to a good place. So that's my take on the Five of Cups. And then when you go to the 6,
Yes.
it's a happy card. It's a card that says, okay, this is the
Made it.
possibility.
You made
This
it
is
to the
what
other
this-
side.
Yeah, this
Yep.
is what's on the other side. Just put down your sorrows and try to get yourself together. Yeah, and go forward. Yeah.
So
Because then after that,
I don't want to get into a discussion about all the other cards, but I never thought about it until you start talking. But it's if it's a journey through the cups,
It's a
if it's
journey,
a
yeah,
journey,
definitely.
you
You're right.
here is the hand of God offering you this wonderful opportunity in the Four of Cups, and you just aren't accepting. You are not in an accepting mood. So then when it comes to the 5, do you think that, see, to me, the Five of Cups to me is, I always think first of regret. So
yeah,
maybe
exactly.
regret that he didn't take the darn cup, when he should have. It's like, oh, I missed that opportunity, so that could be regret over the opportunity that was missed in the previous card too. So I threw together just some cards and I wanted to get your idea or your opinion on these. But so we have, and it's always in context, right? So I was trying to think about context. So if how does it show up in a work situation? And I thought, okay, with the Three of Pentacles, there we go. With the Three of Pentacles, it's regret over or sadness over it. They didn't get the job, or they didn't get the contract, or they didn't like my proposal, right? And so someone's kind of licking their wounds over that, for a work thing. So how about with judgment? How about what happens when you have it with judgment? So if it's sorrow, let's do it this way. So you have sorrow, but it comes after judgment. And it's like, are you doing the same? Are you having the same reaction over and over again because you're not learning? You're doomed to repeat, and you're doomed to be sad every time because you're not learning the lesson you were supposed to learn. I think that was kind of cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
I had a kerfuffle, friends, family, and social. I had a kerfuffle with the Five of Wands, right? Things were said. Maybe I said something that I can't take back, or maybe they did, and I'm regretting it, right? I want to know how this is going to come out. Oh, I'm in a fight with my sister. How's it going to come out? And you end up with the Three of Cups in the outcome card, and it tells you everything will be fine. It's going to work out. It's going to be fine. Whenever I see the devil in most of my readings, with women, especially with young girls, I often think of, or I see, domestic violence. And when we see this, and this is where, Dee, we're talking about the cups and looking behind you, getting past the spilt ones and looking at the full ones. When you're in a situation and to me, it says, I don't see a way out of this. And I read something that you guys might find interesting in Tarot Oracle. For the Five of Cups, he said, the Eight of Cups shows disappointment and, more importantly, an escape from that. The Five of Cups, or in the Five of Cups, you don't see, or you don't have this escape mechanism, but instead you're just caught dealing with it in place. And it's like, yeah, and it's like, I see like this as not seeing the way out. This is a sad situation, or a situation that makes you feel really badly, and you don't see the way out because the cups you're not looking for it. Maybe because you don't believe it's there. And maybe how do you find it might be the clarifying question. And one last one, and this is for my reversal friends.
I'm getting into that now.
News. Okay, so we have our page of cups, right? News is news. The news, good news is coming, because that's what he stands for, is good news, emotional news is coming,
Not when he's reversed.
but he's not feeling it. The news is not good for this person. So my best friend just got a job, 4 states away and is moving. And I'm sad because it's good news for somebody else, just not for me.
Ah,
So
So-
if you take that 5 of cups
Right.
and reverse the 5 of cups,
Okay.
in
Everything
what
spills out.
so what happens is when you reverse that 5 of cups reversed, basically you would rather have that card that way. To me, when I see that, it means you've reached the lowest point and you're on your way up. You can't get down any further for
You've
a
hit rock
reversed
bottom.
card. You've hit rock bottom. Yep, there it is.
No.
Then you don't need that page.
Throw him out.
Get him rid of him.
But
Yeah.
too, it's like news is news, right?
Yeah.
News is news. It's not here yet, but you might want to forewarn somebody, listen, there's some news coming and you're not going to like it. Or there's some news that's, and this of course could be like how's my court case going to turn out? You're not going to like the results, or prepare for them. Prepare that you may not like it, because I don't like to tell people, I don't like to give people exacts, you may
Sure.
need to prepare. It might not even be from that. I mean, it might be from something else, and you're thinking that's what it's from. So, what else? What other situations can we find ourselves in within life? I mean, so we've got work. And I mean, I'm disappointed at work all the time. Oh, one thing I wanted to throw at you that I was looking through my own stuff. And again, if it symbolizes as an emotional reaction to something, maybe maybe it's like I have on here, maybe it's over, like a relationship. Maybe it's over, but you're just afraid to leave. You're afraid of what's next. So you sit in it, right?
I often think too that it's a place marker, right? We live in a culture that really kind of likes to gloss over any of the speed bumps of life, right? Like, be happy, whatever, no matter, be
Yes.
happy. And I really think that the 5 of Cups can be one of those ones. Is like, sometimes you need to be allowed to process, right? You've lost a family member, death or divorce or whatever. You need time to process that. He's standing by the bank and he's allowing himself to grieve. And that is, to me, a very positive thing.
Mhm.
Allow himself. Then he can turn around and he can see the other cups. Or then he can cross the bridge and go back to the castle. But, rather than rush that emotional and psychological requirement that we have to experience, process, and come through our quote negative emotional spaces, let's honor the process and just allow ourselves and others. Take some time.
You're right.
It's okay.
And I have on my notes, reminds us to hold space for that grief
Mm.
or that disappointment. And also, and I read something, I don't even remember where I read it now, I can't find it, but it was something to the effect of, sometimes I'm just having a crappy day, or if it's a weekly reading, you may, and that's the first card you get. Well, guess what the theme of the week is,
Monday.
you might be having a crappy week this week. Prepare for a crappy week, but you know what? It's all right. If you want to have a crappy week, have a crappy week. I like the fact that this individual goes off by themselves. If they're going to lick their wounds, if they're going to be, a sorry ass, go do it by yourself. Don't inflict your misery on everybody else. But sometimes it needs to be okay to just be in a crappy mood, or be okay to be disappointed by something. Because, you know, when something happens, all of our friends gather around and say, oh, cheer up, or let me cheer you up, or let's be happy. And sometimes you just need it to be, you just need to, you know, fume for a while. And
Is
that's,
that called dumping the wine out of the cup or kicking the cup over?
oh yeah, that's that card, right? That card, I can't remember the name of the deck, right? Where it's dumping the wine out of one of the two
Right.
standing cups in defiance and
In
anger
defiance, yes.
over this, because anger is one of the, you know, that's one of the things of grief, right?
Yeah.
How about, go ahead, Yvonne?
Oh, I was gonna agree. You know, I think that, you know, depending on the cards that are surrounding, you know, the five, you know, that will indicate how you're going to interpret this card, because it has so many different interpretations, like we just saw right now. I mean, it could be, you know, allowing oneself to grieve. It could be, you know, get over it. It could be all these different things. You know, it just depends on what the rest of the cards, the surrounding cards are, you know, and the question, of course, you know, because when I see the cups, you know, we all know they're emotional. It's an emotional card, or suit.
So yeah, I really do think it is important. I mean, context is everything. Let's face it. But I mean, if you're asking if I'm going to get the job, and the Five of Cups comes into play, I'm not going to say is the answer, because we're not talking about pulling a one card answer, because then we know what the answer is. But if or not, so let's say it's a one card, am I going to get the job, yes or no? And we get the Five of Cups, right? So we know you're going to have an emotional reaction, an unpleasant emotional reaction to whatever whatever comes up. But to go on in light of Dee and her clarifiers, but to go on and say, well, what exactly, you know, why is that going to be? Why are you going to have this emotional reaction? What's going to cause it? And then to be able to pull other cards, you know, pull 3 cards on that. Or if it's in the middle of a 5-card spread, or even a Celtic cross for that matter, you know, where is that coming from? You know, and what, you know, what's the cause of that, so that we can find a way around it, right? Or find a way to accept it. So
To me, it's amazing to me that when you have a querent in front of you, so, you know, a client, and that card comes up, I mean, they pretty much know what, I mean, when they, you know, if they might not know what the card means, but once you kind of give them an explanation as to what the 5 is, it will either resonate or it won't.
Right.
And, you know, 9 times out of 10, it resonates.
Yeah.
They know
Yes.
exactly what that is, you know, what their spilled cups are, what the card means to them. So,
Especially if you bring it to their attention, here's 5 cups, 3 are spilled. It's kind of like, okay, that just opened the gate, and you'll start hearing them say, oh, well, this happened. But you still have 2
yeah,
left.
I applied for this job. For this job 3 times before, and I didn't get it. Well, hey, look, you know,
Yes.
maybe
You got 2 more times.
Yeah, give it.
yep,
There you go.
and all the cups showing is that you're unhappy with the result of that, you know. So one other
Great
thing,
visual.
one other thing is that I thought was interesting, way of looking at it too, is stressing over the things we cannot change. So that happens a
Right,
lot.
the cups are spilled already. Can't change that.
Can't change it.
And
Move
it's
on.
learning, figuring out, how to
But you
move
have
on.
but you have the choice to make things, to do things differently.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or stew in it. I mean, I don't you know people that are unhappy about everything all the time and they never turn around. They never see the cup half full.
Thank you.
It's a habit. It's just a bad habit at that point. Oh God.
I think there should be a life jacket laying on the shoreline, or a life-saving buoy.
Our own deck.
There you
Carbon
go.
tag.
We put on our
Or somebody on the other side of the shore waving, is like, hello.
Yes. I see you. You want a rope? Hey.
Now is that our ego? Because we would be putting
Yeah.
our own fixes right in the card.
Yeah.
you know.
Nice.
In
Works.
case of emergency, break glass.
Yeah,
There you go.
that'd be awesome. I still like the card. I saw that Tarot Oracle card with the, 5 of Cups yesterday with the and I still have that in my brain with he's dumping out the cup. out of
Dumping out
anger.
the cup. Yeah.
I thought that I just got such a chuckle out of that. I thought that
Yeah.
was fun. But again, I think finding out, if it's an emotional reaction to something, finding out what that is, or that's how you take it to the next level, is digging into where did this come from? And where is it going? Where are you going from here? As a 5, it's middle of the road. You're not done, even though you feel like you are, because of the cups that are standing, you're not finished yet. You're halfway through this
It's a setback.
ordeal, right?
Right.
It's just a setback.
Yeah.
Well, and then of course, 5s are all about change too.
Yes.
So,
Yep.
so yeah, I mean, you even though the 4 of Cups looks like, the person's defiant and doesn't want to look at things, 4s still depict stability, or maybe instability in this case, emotional instability. So,
When I
So-
think defiance, of course, I automatically think of the 7 of Wands, but you're
Hmm.
right. This is somebody who's mad over something, sad, or regretful over something,
Disappointed.
and doesn't, but is
Disappointment.
hanging on to that and not wanting to change, not ready to change, maybe you think.
maybe not ready. I mean,
ready.
But then, when we look at, water, any liquid, right? It changes its shape very quickly. That's the definition of
Constant.
liquid, like from a science perspective, right? And this is what we have. And that's one of the things, because certainly anybody like myself who has suffered from, emotional disturbances, deep depression or something like that, it can feel like, you've gone down for the 3rd time and there's no way, but that remembrance that liquids change their shape very quickly, right? And respond very quickly to any kind of change in the container. And I think that's kind of the gem of hope. I mean, we see it in the river going and the bridge over top of it, but that's what's in this card. Yes, he is caught in I call him the man of constant sorrow, that he's, kind of, yes,
Love
and
it.
I do sing it every time I see him.
I love it.
and now I will too.
Yeah.
Hey,
But that's the thing, he's on the bank of a river and you can't step into the same river twice, right? The whole idea that it is always changing, and that's one of the lessons to me from the 5 of cards, or 5 of Cups.
something else.
Good.
I have never seen a card yet. That doesn't mean there's not a million of them out there. I have not seen a 5 of Cups yet where there is rippling, babbling, rushing river. It's usually calm. And I think when a river is calm, it's because it's deep. It's because you don't see it moving, because it's an undercurrent. And
Yeah, well, be careful.
and it can be really deep. And so that's a lot of the emotions are really deep within, making it hard to cross over, without a lifeline, without some kind of help, without some kind of, escape mechanism, to escape that frame of mind.
Well, it brings up the question, how strong are you? It's emotional strength. Here's your test. Now you've been given that information. How do you want to proceed? You've got 2 cups left. You're going to go for it. It's just a setback. It isn't the end. So like who said, it's a middle card. It just kind of puts you on pause for a second and you kind of pull back and go, oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Here we go.
Or Kate, for Kate and I, a few weeks when it came to our because we both kind of hit rock bottom at the same time with, video titles,
Yeah.
video ideas, like where were we going with this? We kind of stood on the
Joint
fence.
skids in 2 countries.
And we kind of sit on the bank for a few, for a little while there. So that's kind of fun. I really, and I have to work at this. Otherwise life takes over and I forget, but I stay more in tune, with my cards when I can walk around and say, this is a X moment, to be able to do that. If you can personalize these moments, they really, when you get them in a reading, you may not know exactly where you're going with it or, based on the cards, but how it feels. You will feel that moment, and as you look around you, as you look at the cards before it, you look at the cards after it, you can step in to that. And I never understood what people meant when they said, well, step into the card and have a conversation with it. It's like, what are you talking about? But at the same time, when I see certain cards, I think of certain personal events that reminds me that was a 10 of Swords moment, or that was a 5 of Swords moment, or whatever. That was an Ace of Cups moment. And you may not, you see that in your mind's eye, but you feel it. You feel it in your chest, and you know that you know the feeling. So you can look at the cards and kind of get an idea of where it's going or where it should. So anybody else have that? Anybody else do that? Anybody else ever say, oh my God, I am having a 3 of Swords moment right now? Or
well, it's that conceptual blending thing, right?
Yeah.
So when you see something, when you're walking down the street and you see something and it catches your eye, and you think to yourself, that reminds me of a particular card, then I think you're really getting into it. And it's really gonna help you as a reader as well, because it's kind of fun how you can make those connections. So as you were talking, and I was thinking, okay, what would a 5 of Cups situation be in real life, right? I could see a waitress carrying a tray with 5 cups and bumping into a chair and 3 cups spilling over. It's like, damn.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't busy enough today.
Right. Now I have to pick up and I have to go, oh my gosh. So, so yeah, I think I've spoken to quite a few other tarot readers that actually do that on a regular basis. They don't even think about it. It just happens.
Right.
They're walking down the street and they see something, or something happens, and they connect it to, oh my God, is that a 10 of Swords situation? It's like, or whatever.
I think about some of my favorite friendships that I've lost when I think of the 5 of Cups. And I don't mean to death or to them moving. I mean to finding out I'm not going to get into the specifics of this, but finding out we are not compatible about something, and it skews the friendship. Okay. And so, well, actually, it's happened to me twice, so I'll go ahead and mention it. Political views. I had somebody totally ghost me because of because I happened to be asked, gee, who did you vote for? And I made the mistake of telling them, and then they were gone.
Yeah, there you go.
They were never my friend if that's the way it was going to be, right? They were never my friend in the first place, but I really liked them and I thought I was connecting with them. And then to have them walk off, it's like, we have, some cups were spilt, but you know what? There's a lesson to have been learned for me. There was a lesson to be learned. Like, what did I miss? In that person's personality, or did I miss something, or was it just meant to be? And it's time now to move on to the next, to find new friends, but sometimes losing people over silly, stupid stuff makes me feel like a 5 of Cups moment. Anybody else have any 5 of Cups? How about you, Dee?
Well, I just think of fives are, we have 5 fingers, and that it's a handful. And if anybody's going to screw it up, we will on our own. Take it out.
I always love your positive attitude on everything.
But there comes that little adage that we talked about, crying over spilled milk. You know what? it was meant to be. I feel bad for them. Sorry for them.
Yeah.
But you got to believe in yourself, and you take what it comes. And
And
there's
because
my
it
thought.
doesn't have to be sad. I mean,
No.
it can be mad, it can be sad, it can be, but it's it's just like I said, it's just a moment of emotional reaction to something, and
Just a handful.
yeah, and it can just say, hey, why are you kicking yourself? Why are you kicking yourself over something?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
listen, we have just a few minutes left. Kate, what do you got going?
Well, I gotta tell you this. I don't know if Mercury is retrograde or
Oh, just stopped.
power moments or what the hell's going
Just
on.
it. Yeah.
But I filmed a video, sat down last night to do the editing, found out that when I cleaned up some dead files on my Mac, I managed to erase, destroy, get rid of, lose probably 75% of, because if you've ever seen my channel, I put photographs of each of the cards up beside me, like picture in picture thing, so people can see them. I've lost about 75% of those files.
Oh no.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
anyway,
God.
so the thing that I filmed on Monday that was supposed to be for Tuesday is probably going to get pushed to Wednesday or Thursday, because I'd either have to re-photograph and re-edit all these photographs.
You don't.
Or,
I have, if you don't mind, Ryder Waite Smith, I have them.
well,
I
yeah,
have a
that's
whole file of.
I mean, I've only got a couple on that, but I mean, every deck that I've got, I have
You like doing.
photographed most of them. So if I'm pulling off the One World Tarot, I have all of those.
Okay, I hate when that happens.
So anyways, that's Kate. That is, I don't know if it's not a Ten of Swords moment. I'm not going to let it be a Ten of Swords moment. But yes, last night about 1 o'clock in the morning, I
Death
said
of the images.
5 of Cups. I'm going to bed.
I can relate to that. So,
Oh, sorry.
D, do you have anything? Do you have any shows coming up that you've signed up for?
No, I haven't.
Your
Actually,
marketplace is done.
yeah,
Okay.
my marketing is done. And so actually, last night I was reading, because we had the Northern Lights coming in Upper Minnesota. I have 2 kids in college up in Ely. So they Zoomed me. And while they Zoomed me, I had, I think six tarot readings I did with the basketball players and a football player.
Well, you're all waiting for the light. Yeah.
That text. So how's that?
That's great. You're on your way, girl. Yvonne, do you have any shows or anything coming up? I know you lost one.
Yeah.
What's
The big one's coming up in the last weekend of September. I'm going down, excuse me, I'm going down to Portland to the Northwest Tarot Symposium.
Okay, are you in it this year?
Well, there's a fair, there's a market and a fair that's all part of it. So I'm a vendor.
Yay!
So if you're in Portland, come on down. We'll do a 3-card down and dirty.
Yay.
Yeah.
So I started a couple of things. Well, I got to start working on September zodiacs, but I'm starting a new series. I'm going to kick it off here in a week or so, but I'm starting a new series on reading tarot at fairs and festivals.
Cool.
And it's not like it hasn't been done a million times, but I think that 10 professional readers can give you 5 tips, and I think they'll all be different. I think we all just bring something a little different, or we see something in a different way. And I don't want to I'm not doing a formalized, like book style thing. There are people that have done a great job. Mine's going to be like in short bite-sized pieces of actual real stuff. Like, how do you get somebody out of your booth? When you're done reading, I have that. And I mean, it's got to happen. You got to do it. And
you've got a wealth of experience, right?
Yeah.
To share with people. Like, you really do have a huge bucket of knowledge to draw upon. And I think anybody would be, it would be a good series.
I'm going to break it down into small pieces so that people can, and I'm going to number the videos. So if it's like, oh, you know, where do I find this or that to outfit my booth? I'm going to have a section on that. So, you know, like where to go, where to look. And that might be like video number 11 or whatever, but I'm going to number them along so people can come back as they're preparing and getting ready to go read for the first time professionally. You know, there'll be little snippets. They can just go and see that snippet, you know, if that's what they want. So I don't know how
I
many.
think that would be
snippets
very
there'll be,
helpful.
but I have 3 pages full, so I don't know about titles, you know me.
The queen of ideas.
Yeah.
That would be
Leave it
really
right
helpful
Well,
for
we're,
people, though. I mean, you know.
Our time is up. Anne Marie was coming. I don't know what happened to her. I'm hoping that she's fine and just forgot. She
No,
probably-
she sent a message. You may not have got it, but she was having problems with her Wi-Fi. And then there was something else that was going on and she didn't know whether she'd make it. So,
Oh, well, I'm sorry that she didn't. That Ireland, we need to get them good Wi-Fi over there. So across the
Yeah.
pond. All right, you guys, I want you all to have a terrific month, and we'll see you next time. How's that?
Sounds
Thank
good.
you.
Bye, guys.
talk to you later.
Bye.